So, what do we have to say about where we're going? So remember, and we'll bring this all back to the first fundamental welfare theorem. Like I said, that's our North Star. That's our direction. That's where we want to go, and that's principally what we want to understand. Because the first fundamental welfare theorem is economics in a nutshell. You'll find it everywhere in microeconomics and macroeconomics. So if you ever end up encountering some situation, you're like, well, like, what are they doing? What does this mean? How is this bit of theory in labor economics or environmental economics or some other area of economics? How is it, related to the rest of the discipline? The right answer, and I would like to say always, but maybe it's always, almost always, because maybe there's some weird exception or something like that. And it's, if you can interpret it through the lens of the first fundamental welfare theorem, if you understand the first fundamental welfare theorem, so you can see, what definitions it's relating to, then you'll have your answer. Because like I said, there are only really two jobs that economists have. One is to figure out what the outcome of the resource allocation mechanism will be, right? What's going to happen? What's going to happen with price and quantity? And that's just the equilibrium in any given situation. So that's why we study equilibrium a lot. And then the second piece of it is that equilibrium efficient or not efficient? And so if you know those two things, there really isn't much else that our discipline has to say. Turns out those things, like I said, they're technical, and there's lots of details to get there, which makes things interesting. But that's it. So the equation I put down at the bottom here, it says that the net social benefit is equal to the total social benefit minus the total social cost. And I said that those two things also equal total surplus. Now, total surplus is probably a concept that you're familiar with. I think it's less useful description of net social benefit, even though they both relate to the same concept. So I'll take a volunteer for a minute. Does somebody want to chat with me? Okay, I have no volunteers. How about Tanish? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so you're familiar with total surplus, right? Or no?
Mhm.
You are.
No,
You are or you're not? I can't quite hear you.
I'm not.
You're
I'm
not.
not.
You're not. Okay. Did you have me for micro? I hope not. For
No.
principles? No. Okay. Thank goodness. Um, so have you heard of consumer surplus?
Yeah.
Yes, you have.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah. What about producer surplus?
No.
No. Okay. Wow. So maybe you're not the best person to chat with at this point. Um,
Okay.
so I'll try one more volunteer. Thank you.
Okay.
Um, what about you, Mauricio? Mauricio Partida, you there? Uh, okay, Mauricio. Oh, okay. Well, you're in the chat, so oh, I'm getting a volunteer. Okay, Sonica.
Hi,
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Fine. So you've heard of total surplus.
Kind of. Is it is it like based on like the dim like if every provider or like every supplier is making like chocolate milk, then it's a total surplus of that chocolate milk in the market, like whatever's remaining?
Well,
Something like that.
not quite. So I'll take one more volunteer, and then maybe we can come back to you. Maybe it'll ring some bells. But um, okay. Uh, let's see. Let's see. Okay. How about Juan Lemus? Are you there, Juan? Um,
Hello.
hey, Juan. How's it going?
Hi. I just got here, so I didn't catch the question.
Okay. So the question is a very simple one. Do you know what total surplus is?
Yes, like the excess supply, right?
No.
No.
No. Okay. I'll tell you guys what. I'm going to give you guys 2 minutes. Go ahead and look up total surplus, and I'll get right back to you guys. Okay. Let's see. Mm. Okay, so I'm still giving you guys a second to look up total surplus. You guys should Google it or something really quickly. Okay, so this one?
Yes.
Okay,
I'll just take a screenshot.
yeah, that's fine.
What does
And
the line say for that one too? My little board covers it up.
what does what say?
At the last line of 2, supply number 2, the very last line I can't read.
It says the seller of a particular unit is assumed to have the lowest willingness to accept.
Okay.
Yeah, and um, I'm recording this, but I've turned the recording on and off at different points, so you guys will be able to see all the slides, but I don't know you'll be able to hear all the discussion. So anyway, but I intend to, if you guys ever see that I'm not recording, the only time that I don't intend to record is when there's a break. So if I forget to turn the recording back on and you guys are like, oh, you're not recording it, I intend to record it so I can distribute this to you guys on the YouTube channel that I directed you to. So yeah, so you guys can review it. But yeah, so yeah, there's a lot that goes into interpreting the demand and supply and doing it properly. And if we don't, our analysis won't be right, and we'll miss a lot of details that will help us answer questions so we can, you know, do well. But also, this is the stuff that we're supposed to know so that other people can ask us questions about it. And when we go on to do our work as economic analysts and, whatever profession we end up in, we can interpret these things for people. So, okay. Um, the where are we going, right? Well, again, um, I say to anybody who's considering getting a tattoo this semester, um, to think about maybe something to do with first fundamental welfare theorem. Um, it's that important in our discipline. But remember, the first fundamental welfare theorem is this, general statement that competitive markets are efficient. And, you know, last time we talked about this, we were more careful about talking exactly, you know, mentioning exactly what we mean by competition. But we've also gone far enough that we now know that efficiency means, or I should say, efficient means that net social benefit will be at a maximum. So you can't get any bigger. And I wanna be clear about that for a minute, and I'll give you guys a little drawing that hopefully will illustrate the point. Okay. So let's call the market equilibrium quantity. So, and I often abbreviate equilibrium as EQM. We're going to call that Q star. Okay. And then over here, I'm going to measure net social benefit. And remember, this is a function, right? So I can graph that function. And I'll try to do a good job here. That's pretty good. So what I'm saying is that if I look at the peak of this function, the top of the function will appear associated with this one point in the domain of the function. Notice that obviously, and hopefully this is clear. Well, you know what actually I'm going to do is I'm going to draw it as an arrow. And I know my arrow is not exactly straight, but you guys will have to forgive me. Okay. And it should be obvious to you guys that we're graphing quantity on the horizontal axis, or the domain of the function is all the different quantities of a particular good that society could produce. And each one of those quantities is going to have a net social benefit associated with it. But when we get to Q star, we're going to be at the peak of the function. Now, I want you guys to think about this statement carefully. We said this is the maximum here, right? But there are different ways that you can be a maximum, right? One is to have a unique maximum like that. But it also could be the case, and I'll do one other drawing for you really quickly, an illustration. It could also be the case that when we graph the net social benefit function, the maximum is not unique, right? The function could look something like this. And again, I'm going to try to draw it for you nicely the best I can. Okay. Well, anyway, I got a C in art in the 8th grade. So you guys can forgive me. But what I was trying to do, this is supposed to be a flat spot, is again I'm graphing net social benefit against quantity. And in this graph, what I'm intending to illustrate, and we can put our Q star here, and I'll put another quantity, Q0, and okay, and then I'll put another quantity, call this one Q1, and like that. And finally, what I'm trying to show you is hopefully, again, it's not a perfect illustration, but that all of these quantities in this range from Q0 to Q1, including Q star, have the same value. And the last thing I'll say about that really quickly is that remember, net social benefit ends up being a dollar figure. So it's something like, Q0 gives society $1 million worth of net social benefit. So does Q star and so does Q1. So you can have a non-unique maximum. The only thing that's at that point in time becomes special about the market equilibrium quantity is that you know how to find it, right? I let the market do its magic. It comes up with the market equilibrium quantity, and voila, I'm guaranteed that net social benefit can't be bigger. Now, we'll pick up on this next time, but I don't want to go any further unless you guys have a really quick question, because I want to go ahead and talk about the assignment. Anybody? Quick. No. Okay. So now I'm going to resume the recording. And well, actually, I'm going to pause it for just a minute.